The Marvel Cinematic Universe continues to expand at an incredible rate. It's very nearly as complicated as things are in the comics. Not really, comics are nonsense. Plus it's impossible to be in the know on everything. If only they'd stop writing comics for like 5 years, I could just let me get up to date. Regardless of my completely reasonable request, there's been a number of Marvel characters that have been hinted at that we haven't actually seen yet. So let's take a look at a few and the Easter eggs that point to them. And by take a look, I mean some pictures will come up and then I will say things over the top of those pictures. Let's start off with the Punisher, who we all now know will make his first appearance in the Daredevil TV series, as played by Walking Dead actor Shane from The Walking Dead. References to Frank Castle, though, have popped up a few times. For one, Micro was name dropped in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, he acts as a kind of weapons information tech expert, and you would have last seen him being both Newman from Seinfeld and being shot in the head in the Punisher Warzone, which is actually a decent Punisher flick starring Ray Stevenson, who went on to play Volstagg in Thor. Of course, that movie isn't part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so it would make sense that he's alive somewhere. There's also 2 references in Season 1 of Daredevil that point to Frank Castle. One, Atreus Plastics, which is seen in Daredevil issue 184, a story that features a Punisher Daredevil showdown, and the other is Somerville Department Stores, the owner of which's wife the Punisher rescues in issue 49 of the comic that is named after him. Most prominently, and director Joe Russo pretty much confirmed this, the Penske truck that assists Nick Fury when he's being pursued by Hydra agents is driven by the Punisher, and then it reappears later in the film to splatter Agent Sitwell. I'd love to see a Marvel movie set during the other Marvel movies that just has the Punisher assisting in the most brutal ways possible, unbeknownst to the more cleaner cut characters. You could call it The Punisher. Was he here all along? ? Donald Blake in the comics was originally the man who was bestowed the powers of Thor. Or he was like a mind-wiped Thor. Or he was a vessel for Thor, created by Odin? I don't know, it keeps changing. I think now they're 2 separate people, or something. Who cares? The point is, this miserable looking sod here, he's sometimes Thor's alter ego, and sometimes he isn't. As we know in the films, Thor doesn't have an alter ego. Actually, he might in that film. Do you guys ever see that version of Thor that has Richard Grieco as Loki? Weirdly, it came out the same year as the first Thor movie. What a bloody coincidence. Anyways, in the presumably better Thor movie, Thor is given the assumed identity of Donald Blake, who apparently is Jane Foster's ex-boyfriend. Which means that Donald Blake exists somewhere in the MCU. I think they missed the opportunity to make Chris O'Dowd's character Donald Blake in Thor The Dark World, but you know, they missed a lot of opportunities in that movie. Like how they decided to make the main villain an elf filled with magic blood or some crap. Black Panther is a movie we're finally getting, but the arrival of that character has been foreshadowed since the good old days. And by the good old days, I mean the year 2011 with the release of Captain America, the first Captain America. Steve Rogers' shield is made of vibranium, a substance only found in the fictional nation of Wakanda, which is Black Panther's home. Director Jon Favreau confirmed that the place marked on the map here, seen in Iron Man 2, is that very same place. And of course we got Ulysses Klaue in Age of Ultron, one of Black Panther's most prominent villains. Apparently, Joss Whedon was originally going to set a sequence in that movie in Wakanda, but instead decided to, I don't know, put in more of that out of place, Thor's going for a swim in a magic pool stuff. Now this one isn't so much a person or character, but a mantle to be assumed. It's heavily rumoured that Steve Rogers will forfeit the Captain America role soon, for reasons I won't get into here. Now if this happens, we've got 2 likely candidates to fill his spangly slacks. 1, Bucky Barnes, and 2, Sam Wilson. Now if I had to choose which one they'll go for, I'd say they'd probably go with Bucky Barnes, as they have foreshadowed it a couple of times already. But it could still go either way. So lastly, Spider-Man is coming. Have you heard? You probably heard. Now, Marvel have been actively avoiding referencing Spider-Man in their movies when he was over at Sony doing his own mediocre and convoluted thing. Still, the Oscorp Tower was very nearly included as part of the New York skyline in the Avengers, but that fell through due to time constraints. But he does appear in episode 12 of Daredevil in Ben Urich's office, right here. Wait, let me just CSI this. Enhance! Enhance more, do more zooming. Perhaps some more zooming with brightness. Well, this looks like shit, but that could be Spider-Man, right? Look, regardless, Ben Urich is a prominent character in the life of Spider-Man. He's one of the few who knows his identity. And by few I mean, well, quite a few. It's like he wants people to know who he is. What a dumbass. Of course, there are a ton more. Doctor Strange has been name dropped.
Bruce Banner, Stephen Strange, anyone who's a threat.
Adam Warlock's Cocoon is in Guardians and Thor 2. Hulk's villain, the Leader, is briefly hinted at. The original Human Torch has shown up, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is all over the Inhumans. Probably. I don't watch it anymore. It's so boring! Sorry, I know people like it, and that's cool if you do, but come on! It's not good! Thanks everyone. Now if you liked this, I've done a bunch of Easter egg videos, the playlist of which I'll link below, along with this video on the best Daredevil stories. Also I have a podcast called The Weekly Planet that covers movies and TV shows and comics, and my never-ending search for a catchphrase that I don't hate. I'll link all those things I said below and at the end of this video. But who's a Marvel character that hasn't shown up yet that you're just dying to see? If you do have any thoughts, please feel free to leave them below. Maybe not racist stuff, keep that to yourself. Probably for the best. Alright, thanks everyone. Take care.